If you're defending yourself against potential collusion charges, the two groups you don't want to have contact with are, one, the Russian government, and two, WikiLeaks. Now, remember, big picture, we all knew Paul Manafort had long and extensive links to the Russian government-affiliated oligarchs. What is new tonight is this reported meeting with that other group you don't want to have contact with, WikiLeaks, specifically its leader, Julian Assange. This meeting that Manafort took a bit after he first began trying to get a job with the Trump campaign in February 2016. There was that memo offering to work for free. Tonight, for the first time, we now see the report that he met with Assange that next month, March, and it was in that month that Trump took Manafort up on the offer, hiring to work at the Republican convention. Now, Manafort hadn't done that kind of work in years, and he had a reputation with controversial dealings, authoritarian business, but none of that held him back within the Trump campaign. And by May, he was campaign chair. Now, 1 month before the infamous Trump Tower meeting, where all those people met with the Russians in an effort to get dirt on Hillary Clinton. And then consider this. It was the very next month that the Republican platform mysteriously changed to be more friendly towards Russia. And by that time, WikiLeaks had begun putting out hacked material from the DNC. And Paul Manafort was even getting publicly pressed on what I mentioned, his ties to Russia.
Are there any ties between Mr. Trump, you or your campaign, and Putin and his regime?
No, there are not. It's absurd, and there's no basis to it.
So to be clear, Mr. Trump has no financial relationships with any Russian oligarchs.
That's what he said. That's what I said. That's obviously what our position is.
That may be what Manafort's lies look like a little bit. That was July. And then I want to show you something that we dug up today. A truly epic TV moment. On the same day, Manafort went on Meet the Press along with, on that day, Julian Assange.
Joining me this morning are the two top strategists from both campaigns. Also, hack attack and the Russian connection. I talked to WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange.
Looks a little different now, and on that same show, both Manafort and Assange talked all about the Russian hacks.
Does it not also matter if a foreign government wants to take part in our election? Do you condemn that?
Of course we condemn that. That's not the issue at all. Mr. Trump was making the point that isn't it ironic that 33,000 emails that our FBI can't have are sitting probably in the vaults of foreign countries?
If a foreign government is involved, isn't that crucial information to civilians?
I think that is an interesting question. We can't, go around speculating on who our sources are. That would be irresponsible.
Well, no, you can't speculate. You know the answer.
He did know the answer. I'm joined by Nick Ackerman, former Watergate special prosecutor. How does this bombshell impact the collusion part of the probe?
Oh, I think this is what the probe's all about. It's about conspiracy, not collusion. Conspiracy is the crime. And this is more evidence of that conspiracy. In fact, I think the big takeaway from Paul Manafort's, the fact that his cooperation agreement was torn up, is that Bob Mueller has significant evidence on conspiracy. The same conspiracy he charged the Russians with respect to the hacking and the dissemination and distribution of the emails and documents.
Do you think this report makes it more likely that Paul Manafort or his allies on the Trump campaign could be on the other side of that original Mueller indictment of the Russians as co-conspirators?
Oh, I think that's right. They're going to be the co-conspirators on the American side. They are part of at least the staging and release of those emails. But this new evidence almost makes you believe that it's possible that they were also involved in the conspiracy to hack into the DNC in the first place. Because the timing, it goes back to March, when in fact the Russians were actually trying to get into the Democratic National Committee and to take documents. So you've got to ask yourself, what else is out there? I mean, there are so many things that Manafort could have lied about that Mueller has evidence on now.
You say Mueller has the evidence. If there was all this about Manafort and Mueller already knew it, if the Guardians got it, Mueller, based on past practice, would have it. Why didn't he charge on collusion already?
Because he's trying to put together the rest of his case. What he's looking for, he was hoping to have Manafort as the person who would put together the story. What he probably doesn't have right now is a witness who completely puts together the whole narrative on what happened from the beginning to the end.
And based on your knowledge, you're one of the few people who's been inside one of these types of probes. Do you think Mueller's team sat with Manafort and said, we know all about this Assange meeting. tell us what else happened, and that's when Manafort seized up?
Oh, I think it was probably a number of things. That may have been one of them. But it's very unusual to break a cooperation agreement like that, for the prosecutor to say, you're lying, we're not going to do with it.
Because as our other experts have said, Mueller does lose something potentially.
Well, yeah, it loses something, but you've got to go before a judge and convince a judge that what you did was proper and it's provable, which the bottom line is Mueller's got the evidence of conspiracy here between the Trump campaign and the Russian government. That is the big headline from yesterday's news.
You distill it so well for us, as you often do. Nick Ackerman, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.